In the world of football, there are countless talented players who often go unnoticed. In this video, we're shining the spotlight on some of the most underrated football players who truly deserve recognition for their exceptional skills and dedication to the game. Join us as we dive into the inspiring stories of these unsung stars, explore their incredible achievements, and celebrate their contributions to the beautiful game. Claude Makelele. Nobody, and I mean nobody, could have revolutionized the role of the defensive midfielder in the Premier League, or perhaps in the entire game, like Claude Makelele. He was known as a combative and hard-working player who could get forward and play in more advanced positions. He spent most of his time in front of the backline, acting as a defensive foil for his offensive teammates. Claude Makelele was a 2000 version of Andrea Pirlo, serving as a deep-lying playmaker at a time when Rui Costa, Ariel Ortega, and other similar players were the touchstone for a playmaker and played directly behind the strikers. He, along with his teammate Patrick Vieira, altered the way France used to play. Their playmaking abilities transformed France into a team that was not solely reliant on Zidane. His ability to read the game, as well as his aggressive tackling, aided both the offensive and defensive lines on the teams for which he played. Florentino Perez's decision to sell Makelele has been questioned by football pundits, as Real Madrid struggled to find such a player for several years until they found Esteban Cambiaso. Fernando Hierro here, criticizing Perez for selling Makelele. I believe Claude has this kind of gift. He's been the team's best player for years, but people just don't notice him or what he does. But if you ask anyone who worked at Real Madrid during those years, they will tell you he was the best player there. We were all aware that he was the most important player. Los Galacticos' demise began with the loss of Makelele. As you can see, it was also the start of a new day for Chelsea. He was the foundation, the key, and I believe he is the same for Chelsea now. Makelele, without a doubt, is one of the most underrated soccer players of all time. Jorge Hagi. What makes Hagi one of the most underappreciated football players of all time? He was a mini Maradona in his day. His technical ability, combined with his leadership and temperamental personality, resulted in him being a highly creative, quick, and advanced playmaker. Being a tactically versatile player capable of playing in a variety of midfield and offensive positions, either on the wings or through the middle, his preferred position was as a free number 10, though he was occasionally used as a second striker. Despite his talent and reputation as one of the greatest number 10s of his generation, his career was erratic at times. His rebellious attitude made him a divisive figure in the press. His lack of discipline led to a number of squabbles, confrontations, and disagreements with his managers, opponents, and officials. Overall, Hagi may be the most underappreciated football player ever. Brian Laudrup. Brian Laudrup is the next player on our list of the most underappreciated football players of all time. It's not easy being Michael Laudrup's brother, especially because Michael was older and more famous than him. Brian was a technical, creative, and elegant player with unbelievable pace and ball control. He put his talent and acceleration to good use, dribbling quickly and easily beating players to create space for his teammates. Although he had excellent finishing skills and could score with either his foot or his head, he was also known as a very unselfish player with excellent vision who preferred to set up teammates rather than score himself. Brian was described as a world-class player by Franz Beckenbauer. Andreas Brehme described him as a player of the highest quality class. The great Gascoigne dubbed him an incredible player. Walter Smith, on the other hand, had a more critical view of Brian Laudrup, praising his ability while also criticizing his mentality, which he felt limited him as a player. Brian Laudrup is as good a player as I have ever worked with, but he frustrated me, he says. He had the ability to compete with the greatest players of all time. There was just that little bit of himself that kept him from being at the very top. Make no mistake, he was an excellent player for us, but he had the potential to become one of the best in the world. We all wished he'd stepped out of Michael's shadow, but most dreams do not come true, and this was one of them. Brian Laudrup is one of the most underappreciated football players in history. Pablo Amar. I've never played with another player who knows where I'm going to be or simply lifts his head knowing where I'm going, Javier Saviola says of his playing relationship with Amar. Before Messi, Argentina's handsome number 10 was an elegant playmaker whose career was ruined by injuries and policy changes at the clubs he played for. River joined Valencia after winning 5 trophies in 2 years, introducing a whole new style of playmaker to the football empire. Amar spent 5.5 seasons in Valencia working with 5 different coaches, each with their own coaching style. He started with Hector Cooper and performed admirably, helping the club reach the UEFA Champions League final, where they were defeated on penalties by Bayern Munich. Cooper later joined Inter Milan, and Rafael Benitez took over as manager of Valencia. Amar excelled under Benitez in 2002, the season Valencia won La Liga for the first time in 31 years, finishing as the club's 3rd highest goalscorer in all competitions. He also had difficult experiences in Valencia with Claudio Ranieri, Quique Sanchez Flores, and Antonio Lopez, which led to his iconic move to top-tier Real Zaragoza. Injuries plagued Amar's football career, forcing him to take unusual actions such as moving to Johor Darul Ta'zim in the Malaysia Super League. He excelled in a free role as an advanced playmaker, where he could use his dribbling skills, vision, and passing ability to orchestrate attacking moves for his team. Due to injuries that ruined his career, El Mago could hardly use his magical powers to their full potential. As a result, Amar may be considered the most underrated football player of all time. Wayne Rooney. How can the all-time leading scorer for Manchester United and the England national team be considered an underrated player? He may be underappreciated because he never received the praise or attention he deserved. Imagine joining Manchester United in 2004 for a fee of £25.6 million, then receiving a £20 million offer from Chelsea in 2013. That says a lot about Rooney and his underrated talent. His scoring records were barely seen by the press because he was overshadowed by Messi and Ronaldo. Rooney was rarely praised for his phenomenal goals and skills, and was frequently chastised for his temper, partying, and drinking scandals. Joining Manchester United at the age of 19, he was able to excel at many levels while playing alongside Ruud van Nistelrooy, Ferdinand, the Neville brothers, Cristiano Ronaldo, Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, and a handful of other quality players. He was well known for his on-pitch aggression and energy. He was a versatile attacker who could play anywhere along the front line, but he preferred to play as a striker. In his prime, Waza was a prolific goalscorer for Manchester United. He is a strong ball striker and an accurate finisher, capable of scoring goals both inside and outside the penalty area, as well as lethal volleys. The main issue with Wayne Rooney, aside from his wild lifestyle, was his injuries and his weight issues. Sir Alex Ferguson frequently advised Rooney to work hard in the gym because he is very stocky. Wayne didn't see the importance of the gym, says former Manchester United fitness coach Mick Clegg. "I'm here to play football," he'd say. Rooney could have played for Real Madrid if he had trained properly and avoided the wild lifestyle that most English football players, such as Gaza, lead. That explains why Rooney is on my list of the most underrated football players of all time.